So most of you that are here already know my name's Tammy, so I'm an accountant at Wealthman, and I've got Albert here with me, who is the director and the head of accounting here. So Albert's just going to speak first and just run through a couple of things to think about for the end of the tax year. And also today we're going to show you our tax checklist that is similar to previous years, but we're just going to run through how that's going to work so that you're going to be all prepared for the new financial year and your tax returns. So as I mentioned, it's all going to be recorded, so we'll send that out to you this afternoon, and we'll also be sending out to you the links and everything else you need for the tax return checklist. Now, you can just write in the chat box if you have any questions as we're going along, and we'll make sure that we have a look at the end and answer all of those for you. All right, so over to you, Albert.
Thanks, Tammy. So as Tammy said, we'll cover the tax checklist, and I'm just going to speak fairly briefly about some strategies that you can use before the end of the financial year to assist with you legally and logically minimising the tax. Now, I must say put a disclaimer on that, because everyone's circumstances are different, and so the information I'm just going to talk about is going to be general in nature, and I'm going to say that before you do anything, you should speak to us about that so that we can make a proper assessment of your personal situation, whether what you're planning to do is going to work for you, and also whether you don't breach any of the rules. So I think that's kind of pretty important, and we're more than happy to have a chat in that respect. And at the moment, we're doing tax planning at a high level for clients with different entities and structures, but also happy to talk to anybody that's wanting some advice, including personal returns, about what you can and can't do to give you a better tax outcome. And I think the thing to stress here, from our perspective, I guess, and it's not a self-interest thing, but a lot of self-preparers don't get their returns right. It appears to be easy to do it online, but often they miss out on a lot of tax deductions, and this is what we do every day here. And so we get good at it, and we're here to help you maximise your position going forward. So I'm just going to run through just a few things in relation to personal returns, and then a few things in relation to business returns. The general principle that you would apply, and I guess it's a bit of a no-brainer, and that is obviously to bring forward deductions into this financial year and to defer income, if possible, to a later financial year. So paying the expense, it's important you pay the expense before the 30th of June to actually get the deduction, assuming it's tax deductible. And therefore, and of course, if you're in a position to be able to delay income, whether it's, say, it's contracting type, that type of income, and you have control over it, then you could probably delay it and then defer paying tax on it for a further 12 months. As I said, before you actually do any of these things, it's important that you talk to us about that. Some of the other things that need to be considered, for example, if you've sold an investment, whether it's a property or shares or whatever it is, and you've realised a capital gain, there's a possibility to help offset that gain by, say, triggering a loss in some other investment that you have. Or obviously, if you're considering selling the investment, you may have capital losses that you carried forward from a prior year, and you can offset those losses to give you a much better tax result, as against, not losing the benefit of that loss at that time. I think also in relation to interest on property loans, there is the ability to prepay up to 12 months of interest. Now that gives you a one-off benefit if your circumstances are such that it could be of advantage to you. You could do a prepayment of interest to bring forward your tax deductions. One of the things that we do get with the younger doctors is, as their income goes up, and anybody really, is the private health insurance Medicare levy surcharge. So often people don't realise that they've earned over 90,000 as a single or over 180,000 as a couple. And all of a sudden, if they don't have private health cover, they're incurring up to 1.5% extra in surcharge. So important to look at this. It won't help you for this last financial year because obviously you need to have private health cover to avoid the levy for the whole year. But it's, again, important to look at those things and maybe implement them now if it's going to cause you an issue going forward. In relation to cars, I mean, that's subject to substantiation rules. So if you're wanting to claim a car on, say, the logbook method, you need to, and you've just bought a car using it for work purposes, you need to start a logbook now. And even though it might flow on to the next financial year, it doesn't matter as long as you complete the logbook for 12 weeks and keep annual odometer readings on it. Another one on the investment property side of things, and we have lots of clients with property, is to make sure you get a depreciation report on a property so that you can take advantage of the building write-off and depreciation of plant and equipment in the property. Now, generally properties that you organise through us, as part of the process, will organise a depreciation report. Now, that's a really valuable claim because the building write-off is 2.5% per annum over 40 years. So once you get that report, you only pay for it once and it's valid for as long as the property can be claimed as a tax deduction. Obviously, donations are another thing. If you are planning to make any donations, to make sure you bring them in before the end of the financial year. Now, there are other things that our planners here can assist you with, and while I'm licensed to talk about things like superannuation and investments and that kind of thing, I don't work in that area every day. And so it's important if you're considering putting extra money into super to maximise your deductions up to the 25,000 or to undertake other strategies, that you speak to one of our planners who will be able to assist you with that and maximise your position for the end of June. In relation, so that's all I was going to say about personal returns. In relation to our business or medical practice clients, I think the important thing there, again, is this, again, applying the same general principle, and that is to bring forward deductions where possible, to defer income where possible in a legal and logical manner. And again, you know, we'll be speaking to clients individually in that area, and we'll be talking about the kinds of strategies that can be utilised in that area. Probably the biggest thing in relation to business clients is the instant asset write-off rules, which have been increased significantly from the 12th of March, from $30,000 write-off to up to $150,000. So we've been working on that quite a bit and making people aware of taking advantage of that. So we've had some clients buying medical equipment, ultrasounds, that kind of thing. You know, it's $30,000, $40,000 expenditure, which they can write off instantly if the item is purchased and installed. So the key thing is to have it in your hands and be able to use it before the end of June and paid for. Then you'll get an immediate write-off of the full amount for tax purposes. So a very handy deduction. It also applies to cars. However, with cars, there are, again, substantiation rules surrounding the claim, and you'll only be able to claim the business portion of that based on the logbook type basis for claiming it. So, but again, can assist. I guess without going into the more complex kind of stuff, that surrounds this side of it. They are the kind of clear, the main areas that we look at. Another one is writing off bad debts. It's probably the last one I'll mention. And, you know, if you have people that owe you money and there's no likelihood of you collecting it, then you can just write the debt off. It comes off your accounts and you don't pay tax on it from there. So if you have any questions about any of this, and as I mentioned before, feel free to contact us and we'll run through the scenarios with you individually and see what we can do to assist with getting you a better outcome at the end of the year. So I'd like to just now hand back to Tammy and she'll run through the tax checklist. And this is a process that we want to make this whole thing as simple and as easy as possible. And we think this is, you know, going to work really well for our clients for this tax year. So over to you, Tammy.
Right, thank you, Albert. So first of all, I just want to talk a little bit about how Wealth Scope works. So Wealth Scope is the platform that we're going to be using this year to send the tax checklist out to you. So probably a lot of you already use Wealth Scope and know what it is, but basically it's hosted through My Prosperity. So it's an account that you can have there with them. We use it to upload all of your tax return documents. The financial planners use it to upload documents for you to sign off on. So it's really quick and easy. You can e-sign. You can log in there. You can actually get, if you're one of our financial planning clients, you can actually get a premium account, which is provided by us, and it allows you to do all kinds of things. So it's a really useful tool. You can put in your bank feeds so that you can track your cash flow, see what you're spending your money on, and you can put in all of your assets, all of your debts, so you can see what your net worth is, how it's going up or down, and it's a really useful tool for the planners to use as well to see what your overall position is. So anyway, that's the Wealth Scope portal, and so that's what we currently use for everyone to e-sign their tax returns. This year, we're also going to use it to send out our tax checklist. So last year, we just emailed everybody a link for the checklist. This year, it will be emailed, but it will be emailed from Wealth Scope. So we're hoping that it's just going to make it a little bit easier for everybody. So what will happen is when we send out the link, you'll get that link in an email. Now, if you've already got an account, it's really easy. You just type in your email address, type in your password and log in, and there'll be a little alert there for you. I'm going to show you a video in a moment, but there'll be a little alert there just saying that there's a WealthMed tax checklist ready for you to fill out. If you don't have an account yet, so we will create a basic account on your behalf in order to be able to send the checklist out to you. So all we will do is enter in your email address. So all you will have to do is create a password, and then you'll be able to log in and use that account from then on. So it's really simple, and it just allows us to sort of pre-fill some of your details in there. So it will pre-fill your name and date of birth and address and things like that, so that you don't have to put in all of those details yourself, and that saves you time. And then we'll go through, fill out the checklist, you submit it at the end. You can upload all of the documents that you want to send through to us that correspond with what you've entered into the checklist. And then it will submit through to us. Ask any questions you want in that same form as well, which I'll show you. And once we receive that, then we'll get started on your return. So it's going to be really quick and easy way of getting it done. So what I would like to do is I'm just going to share my screen with you and just play a quick video of just going through the checklist, how it's going to look, and just a quick overview of that. So let me just share this with you now. Perfect. Okay. So this is what the screen will look like once you log in. We just go up to the top corner. We say complete the WealthMed tax checklist, and it will bring up your checklist, just a quick little introduction there. Now, it should pre-fill quite a few of these details for you, so you don't need to worry about that. But if not, just type it in. and away you go. So it's just all of your basic information. We ask you to put your bank account in there. That's a required field because we want to be able to give you your tax refunds into that account. Next step, it just goes through all the different types of income you may have had during the year. So you just say yes or no. And you'll have the opportunity to attach documents as well that goes along with that. So next stage, deductions. Again, just goes through all the possibilities that you may have had. You can type in there the amounts for everything, your work use percentage. So you can say my phone bill's 50% work. And just tally up all of your various different categories of expenses to enter those in. And then obviously we will come back to you if there's anything else we think that you can claim that you've maybe ticked no to. Down the bottom, you can add in a note to us. So you just click on that little page notes, ask us anything that you think you may have missed or you're not sure what you need to put in. We'll receive that question as part of your tax checklist so we can get back to you and let you know if you need to upload something or we need further information. There is also the section here where you can attach your documents. So you can, if you're on your desktop, just drag and drop. If you're on your mobile app, actually, you can take a photo from your phone and attach it, so it's super easy. You can fill out this whole checklist on your mobile as well. You can attach documents at any page of the checklist. You can set yourself a little reminder if you need to remember to, oh, I need to go and find that receipt and upload it, then you can send yourself a reminder. We can send you reminders as well if there's something that we think that you need to upload that you haven't put in the checklist. So you can just tick what items it is that you're going to upload. You can upload those documents, put as many page notes and questions as you want. Once you're happy with everything, just submit it through to us. As soon as you've done that, we get an alert. That's the end of the video there, so it's very quick and easy. So yeah, we get an alert once you've submitted that through to us. With all your questions, all your documents, everything filled out, we go and start preparing it for you, and we can type back in there and say, what about, have you thought about claiming this, or we think that you might have had this, do you want to claim this, things like that. And then again, you will get an alert back on your account saying, hey, the WealthMed tax team has asked you for this. So especially if you've got that, or we recommend you download the app on your phone. It's just called Wealth Scope. If you search for it in your app store, you can get it on Android and for Apple as well. So it makes it really easy, because if you're logged into that app on your phone, you can fill the whole thing out. Like I said, take a snap of a receipt you've got in front of you on your phone, or even a screenshot. Upload it to us. It will come up with a little icon if you have received a notification from us with any questions. Just makes it really easy to do it all. You can be sitting at work and you can do it on your phone, and just get the tax process started so we can get it done and hopefully get some refunds back to you. Obviously, if you've got items, if you've got some larger business claims, or you've got 4 rental properties or something like that, where you've got a lot of documents, you can still submit the checklist to us, just with all of those basic details and your work deductions and things. And you can either upload those documents in there if you want to, or if there's too many, you can still just email them through to us and we'll just attach them all into your file.
I think
so
Tammy, just with our clients with entities and so on,
yes.
They can fill that in if they like, but generally we do that in a different kind of way.
Yeah.
Handle it. The other thing I just wanted to add with that is that not necessary to aim for perfection. We know that not everyone has the time to make it perfect, and sometimes time-wise it's you're trying to get it in and you want to get it to us. Get it 95% or 90%, right? Ask a question, we'll come back to you with a question. It's interactive, so we can get to that end result as quickly as possible. In some cases, there may still be a query before we book a time to go through it, and we can resolve it at, within a few minutes if there's only a couple of things, really one or two things to do. So we're flexible in trying to get an outcome for you. And I think I'm not sure you're going to mention, Tammy, the other thing is that we'll be wanting to book appointments with your planner. And I might hand back over to you on that one.
Yeah, so once we have sort of got to the point where your return is mostly finished or completely finished, if we're able to get to that point, what we'd like to do, we're not sure, it might still be via Zoom at this point in time, or it may be able to be back in the office, but we would like to book in a time with you just to quickly run through it all. Make sure that you're happy with everything that's obviously in your tax return, claiming as much as possible. We haven't left anything out for you. And then at that same point in time, the planner that's assigned to you, whether it's Gemma or Joe or possibly Carolyn, they would like to come into that appointment as well and just have a quick chat with you, catch up, make sure that, from their perspective, everything's all taken care of, what your plans are, for the next 6 months or the next year. And we want to make sure that we're tying in your whole situation with your tax. We're not just looking at your tax return, we're looking at everything. So we want to make sure we're working with the planners at the same time, and we've covered everything, that you may have had questions on or during the year. So they will come into the meeting. So once we've done your tax return, we're going to get in touch with you and ask you, we'll book in a quick time just to catch up and go through it all. And once we've done that, then we can lodge them for you. Okay, so does anyone have any questions on that sort of just part of the tax checklist process? I think it's pretty easy to work through. Once you get the link, you just log in and you'll see the notification there. So at that point, if you have any questions, just let us know. But it should all flow very smoothly. And also let us know if you have any questions on anything that Albert mentioned at the start, anything about, tax deductions before the 30th of June or delaying your income, or any tax concerns basically that you have. If you've got anything now, just type it in the chat box. Otherwise, always feel free to send us through an email, give us a phone call. You can also call the financial planners as well if it's some question that you've got for them. Doesn't look like there's any questions coming through here at the moment. So did you have anything else you wanted to add, Albert, before we finish up?
I think that's pretty much covers it. As you said, Tammy, we do encourage our clients to speak to the planner as well as us, because our main thrust is, what we do here is to make sure we give a coordinated advice about our clients and where they're heading financially. And a nice tax refund is something we want to deliver, obviously, and as well then if you can do something really valuable with that to further your financial position, whether it's to assist with buying a property or an investment or whatever else it might be to improve financial position, put it in the offset, those kinds of things that are going to make it, little things that will add up over time, make a big difference. So the tax refund can be, especially for the first year, interns who have worked for 6 months, they're probably going to be looking at a fair refund coming back to them as they've been paying tax at a higher rate for a short period of time. And they'll also want their refunds fairly quickly, and we'll endeavour to get them fairly quickly, and then see what they can do with it and
plan what they can use that money for.
Yeah, exactly.
So one of the questions was if we're going to be sending out the recording. So yes, this webinar will go out in an email to everybody either this afternoon or tomorrow. So you can, send it on to your friends, rewatch the whole thing, and then email us if you've got any other questions. And along with the recording, we'll also send out some more information and links and such on the checklist, so that you can actually get started on the checklist now before the end of June. If you want to, you could start filling it out. You know, and then if you just have any extra expenses you incur before the end of June, just add those in. So you're all ready to go for, we can't start actually preparing the returns until the 1st of July, but, you know, feel free to submit them through to us as soon as you've got everything in there and got them ready, and we can get them done out to you quickly. So I think that's it. Thank you everybody for attending, and everyone who watches the recording. And like I say, just give us an email or a phone call and we'll help you out.